Thank you, Roger. Yes, actually, on that point of exonerar, it's a particular usage of the word which is unique to Angola, as far as I know. You could say, yes, it's being judged, or another way of saying purged. But it's quite interesting that there is an entire stable of former ministers who have been through the exoneração process. It can be humiliating at the time, but they're never completely broken down. They are reincorporated into the party. And that is why it is so difficult for pundits to pick who could be the possible successor to Dos Santos. The successors are legion thanks to this kind of process. But also it offers a degree of protection to the highest level politicians in the knowledge that though they may be only given 5 years to wear the big hat, ultimately they will still be able to exert influence within the party and potentially within the government in the future. I think it's particularly interesting to see the fresh rise of Carlos Feijó as what appears to be the number 2 in the government at the moment. He has long-term been Dos Santos's legal advisor, but he fell from grace quite spectacularly a few years ago, lost his job as a civilian chief of staff, and kind of disappeared from the scene. He's since returned, and that has given hope to many of the previous exonerados that maybe they too could come back into the system. So if there is eventually a proud struggle in the future, there will be a very long list of names of potential candidates. Okay, well listen, I'd like to start with one. One issue that we've not touched on so far, or only in passing, is corruption. I think there has already been mention of the probity law. For those of you who are not clear, earlier this year Angola passed a probity law which was really quite sweeping in its attempt to impede official corruption. It includes provisions that you're not allowed to accept certain gifts. It also prevents, supposedly, conflict of interest by ministers, and this has been a big problem over the years, that ministers also have huge investments in the sectors that they are actually in charge of. The law also requires all members of parliament and the government to submit a sealed envelope with their interests to the public prosecutor, which I understand has happened, though there is no talk about whether that stuff will ever become public.